Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of Everyday Valora, where we take you behind the scenes of running a chocolate business. This week, you're coming on holiday with us to Samoa as we visit 3 cocoa farms. The first cocoa farm we visited was in Savi, where we hired a car to drive around the island. We originally wanted to get to the farm that supplies Whitakers, but as it was on the opposite side of the island to us, and we weren't able to get our hire car first thing in the morning as we'd planned, we knew we were never going to make it in time. Whilst driving around the island, we saw cocoa growing everywhere. This was our first experience seeing cocoa growing, and it was quite exciting. We decided to take a chance when we saw a well-planted and maintained cocoa farm, and we stopped and asked the family if we could visit. With limited Samoan language skills, lots of hand gestures and smiles, Uncle took us on a tour while Granddad and the grandkids watched on. It was an unexpected stop that turned into a lovely cultural exchange to see a family proudly showing off their hard work. They were generous with both their time and their produce, and we left their farm with 3 cocoa pods, which we thoroughly enjoyed cutting into and experiencing the taste of the fruit straight from the pod. This wasn't the only cocoa experience we had in Savi, as when we headed to the falls for a swim the next day, we ended up with a flat tyre and no spare. So we relied on the villagers to get us up and running again. While borrowing a spare tyre from a local so that we could drive to the garage and get it changed, they let us try their freshly brewed cocoa, and it was delicious. Back in Apia, our next cocoa farm was again played by ear. We had instructions from a lovely lady at Grandma's church on how to find her brother who would gladly show us his farm. Once in Apia, we liaised with his wife and sorted a day, and she took us up to their farm. Their farm was a mix of cocoa trees and other crops. The taro was absolutely huge. It felt like a little slice of paradise. As to the guys that work in the garage that they also own, cleared our way with machetes, and the farm dogs ran happily in front of us, catching the rats. We were grateful for the time that Mo took out of her day to share her business and her life with us. Our final cocoa farm was Miss Sunshine Organic Farms. Florist was a perfect host. We were able to ask lots of questions about how cocoa grows, the fermentation and drying process, and she happily answered them all. Her farm and her family's farms were extensive, and we had a great time exploring all the different areas she showed us. She's passionate about the work she does and keeping the organic nature of farming alive. We left with a plate full of tropical fruit and some of her chocolate bars. We had good intentions of enjoying her chocolate bars once back home in Auckland, but we had a little nibble on the bars while at the airport, and we couldn't help but finish them straight away. We loved our time in Samoa and the people we met while travelling. In this day and age of getting lost in the online world and having social media tell us what is and isn't cool, It was refreshing to go on holiday and connect. Connect with the people in nature around us. Everyone we met had time to give, were generous with their resources, were kind, genuinely enjoyed helping you out, and had many smiles to give. Thanks so much for watching this week's episode where we discover cocoa farms in Samoa. I hope you enjoyed our adventures. Please like and subscribe to see more and comment below to let us know whether you have visited any Samoan cocoa farms. See you next time for more tales and chocolate adventures.